Whoa! A lot more of you out there than I was expecting. Great to see all of you. Hey, Taylor, how you
Hey,
doing? You're here. Good, good.
I'm
Talk
here.
every now and then, so I know you're there. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you to On Top and Hot's live DD, quick DD, I guess you'd call it. We're doing this for our Penny Boys group. It's a Discord group that helps traders. Doesn't matter what you trade, OTC, big blue chip stocks, tokens, cryptocurrency, even if you gamble. We got all sorts of coaches over there, free chats, stuff that you can do and learn from. Got an invite down at the bottom from the wizard. Come on in. They call me, what name am I using over there now? I think it is Stocks Wizard.
Stocks Wizard. Yep.
Right. So we have got a bunch of tickers already chosen up here. As you know, I go by first come, first served. I thought it was the fairest way to do it so people didn't think I was playing favorites or not picking you for some oddball reason. And that's been working okay, but I got to be honest, it just didn't seem fair that we have all these people coming to the show at 4:00, which is when I say it show up, drop their tickers, and I say, I can't get to it. That's not right. So what we're going to do today is I've got 6 already lined up. Normally we can fit 8 in the show. We try to keep it to about an hour and a half now. We try. We're going to let 2 slots stay open. By the time I finish the 6th stock, we will pick 2 of the stocks from over here. We are going to actually let Taylor do that.
I was going to say, by we, he means me.
Yeah, and I'm not going to tell you how she's going to choose it. We do have a formula set up here. She's not going to just choose it because of who you are or what ticker it is. We have a system here to keep it fair. So I'll let you know what that is when we get to it. So I hope you guys brought us some goodie stocks today, folks. The point of this show is to bring hot penny stocks to the table. We just don't want to be checking your stocks that have been sitting around doing nothing. I may be called the wizard, but I honestly can't do anything to make anything move. You know your stock probably better than I do if you own it. So if you're looking for me to shed light on a dark situation, that's not what we're here for. I am not going to be able to do any magic. So I really do want you to bring stocks to us that have heat, hot news, hot charts, something that can make us all money. Fair enough, right? We've been looking at a lot of stocks repeatedly. And folks, there's a lot of stocks out there. And when we look at a stock just a couple of weeks ago, we look at it again, nothing's happened. You can look at the chart. You don't need us to look at the chart, right? All right. So we have got a bunch of stocks set up here, and I'm honestly not sure what is going on with the small market today. I was actually watching the big market. I was playing some options today, and something happened. All the big markets, Apple, SPY, the Q, Berkshire, they fell hard. I ran around seeing if any bad news came out today. If there was some talk by Powell, it's Thursday. They get away with a lot of Fed talks on Thursday. I didn't see any news. What I saw was the rumor that Trump opened up the door for China to attack Taiwan. Trump said that Taiwan is getting defended by the United States for free, and that ain't going on no more. And when you think about it, Taiwan is a very rich nation. This is a nation that is building most of our AI chips and spreading them around the country, around the world. And if China gets a hold of Taiwan, this isn't an economic situation. It's not a geographical situation. They're going to have all of the computer chips for AI predominantly. That's where they're coming from. So this really hit the market hard today. But as I said, I have no clue about the small guys. So let's take a look at the first stock we've got here. This is Vulcan Inc. I heard we looked at this last week, I think it was. Is that right, Taylor?
That's right. We did.
Okay. So I'm not quite sure if we have any new news, but there is some stuff to tell you. Vulcan, she finished today at $3.12. She was up today 1.6%. She's a hot penny stock, fingers crossed, on the NASDAQ. These penny stocks on the major exchanges come with benefits, folks, compared to the OTC. First, they're safer. There's a lot more rules up on the major exchange, keeping these companies in line. 2, they're free to trade. That allows you the opportunity to scale in, make multiple purchases without paying over and over and over again. And same thing for selling out, scaling out. There's a lot more volume, a lot more money on the major exchanges, and you can trade pre-market, aftermarket. And some of the biggest bounces I have ever seen, we're not talking climbs, bounces, happen pre-market, aftermarket. If not for the stock, at least for that day. So you've got all that going for you, and that Vulcan is a major exchange penny stock. So what is Vulcan about? Vulcan develops and manufactures and sells electric off-road power sport vehicles. This is what we're talking about here. They've got 3 different vehicles. They've changed them a little since the last time I saw them. They used to have the Grunt and the Runt. They've got their 4 tracks, if you will, 4-wheeled vehicle off-road. They've got their 2-wheeled off-road vehicle, big balloon tires. Then they used to have this in mini size, big balloon tires, but it was tiny. I know why they got rid of that. Balloon tires are tough to ride, and a small bike is going to be for a kid. I'll bet you they were flipping those things left and right. So they came up with this one, the Vulcan Brat, which is off-road for trailing and stuff. Not hard, but it's primarily been set up for the road. These are their 3 products right here. So looking at the news, we had a reverse stock split that just happened here recently. It was a 1-for-100 reverse stock split. That happened on June 6th. And they said that dropped it from 33.3 million down to 1/3 million shares. Hot water. You can't be under 1 million. As a matter of fact, I learned something today. I've always been saying that. The NASDAQ has a minimum criteria for the float, 1 million shares. I thought it was true. Well, once they did that reverse stock split, they fell into hot water on their float, one way or another. They were also in hot water on other things. They were under the minimum bid price requirement of $1. They were under the minimum amount of shares, which they say here has to be at least 500,000. That's completely different than what I've been preaching. Now, I don't know if it's just for this company, because I have seen different rules for different companies. I guess maybe because of what type of company they are. They say here that they've got that problem fixed now. And the reason they fixed that is in the news right there. They just closed $12 million registered direct offering. They sold units. They put more shares on the market. They put more warrants on the market. And that increased the amount in the float. So now we've got a bigger float than what originally they had. I'm not quite sure how many it's up to. Did they actually tell us in this thing? Purchased 3 million. So you add 3 million more. They sold those at $3.65. 3.2 million onto 1/3 of a million. You're talking just under 4 million outstanding shares. That's the way it looks to me right now. The other thing I wanted to point out was the volume. Before we go looking at that, this is from Yahoo Finance, and it'll show you every single day's volume, which I like to see. An average, that gives you a feel for what's going on, but not really. Some of the numbers could have been drastically higher just a couple days before, but when you average it out over the last month, it doesn't look like anything's going on. Well, we can see here what's going on. She's been popping underneath 1 million shares quite often. But here on July 11th, and I couldn't find any catalyst. I didn't see any news. I didn't see any filings where she jumped from $3.80 up to $6.09 and then fell back to $3.74 and had 29 million shares move that day. July 1st, she had 10 million. She didn't do much of anything. She went up about 40 cents. This one, the day before, she had 2 million shares, and it looks like pre-market. Pre-market, because you can see where she closed here, 365 the day before, but she opened up at 609. That's a $3 jump pre-market, folks. Whatever the heck happened. Take a look at the relative volume for this Texas company. She's usually doing about 3.3 million. That's what they say the average is. It looks to me to be closer to 1 million most of the time. And she is about 1.5 million today. Share structure for Vulcan. Try again, try again. All right, there's that 1/3 million they were talking about, but with the public offering, it doesn't look like it's caught up yet. That's going to be closer to 4 million. I don't know what the float is, but it's not going to be any more than 4 million. So it's going to be a very small float. And if it was a direct offering, I don't know. Some of those could be locked up shares that can't even be sold. I don't know about that either. Market cap, I'm going to presume, since that's 1 million and that's $3. Yeah, see, that's not been caught up yet either. So this should be closer to 12 million. You just multiply all the shares times the price. If we're at 4 million shares times $3, we're closer to 12 million on our market cap. Financials for the company. Well, they've been growing since they started selling. 2021, they started with about 500,000, jumped to 4.5 million, have fallen down to 3.2 million. But that's not the worst part. Worst part is they haven't started making a profit yet. They're losing all kinds of money, folks. We've got to add 3 zeros to any of the numbers there. So they lost $8 million to make $3.2 million. You don't stay in business long doing that. Quarterlies, looks like they're struggling to hover around the $1 million mark every quarter. It's costing them a lot of money. Once they made some profit, all the rest of the time they're losing money. Lots of it sometimes, a little bit sometimes. Take a look at that balance sheet. Got to carry those 3 zeros here too. Cash in the bank, 3.6 million. Total assets for the company, about 17.5 million. Total liabilities, about 13.5. So we are holding stockholder equity in this company. We're not holding a bag. We've got just under 4 million. And I've probably already looked at the disclosures, but I just got to poke my head. Oh, right. I knew there was something. We got an SC13G here. 13Gs, 13Ds are filed when you get new investors. They buy so many shares, they actually become a new owner. One is a silent investor. One has a voice. You want some control in it. I think the G is a voice. There are multiple people listed in here. You add them all up, it's less than 10%, but there's some special things going on there with warrants and stuff, so I don't understand it all, but we did have someone just come in and get about 10% of the company. So that's everything going on with Vulcan right now. It's that reverse split that really changes everything. You've got a new share count right now, and I haven't looked at the chart, but I've got to imagine that it probably took a big hit. Normally, after these reverse stock splits, you see a big drop before she pops. You get all the people who are disgruntled, who just had all their potential taken away. It's not about the value. It's about, I had this many shares, I can make that much profit. Well, now when I've only got 100 shares, it's not even worth me being in it anymore. And they'll sell, and it'll drop until all those begruntled sellers are out, and then people will come in and start buying it if the company has value. We do have some value in the company. All right, Taylor, on you.
Okay. Let's see. So we did look at this just last week, and I have it on regular candles just so I can see a little bit better what's going on. Hold on just 1 second. I forgot to pop that on. Okay.
Going to bump you up.
Yeah, so I was putting the comment up because I forgot that. I was looking at something. Anyway, so this was from last week. So this all happened during pre-market hours when it popped up and then continued to just fall. We fell down to this level, which was about 335. And, that was its all-time low, which was, yeah, all-time low and 52-week low. So it was kind of here too. So I was like, okay, maybe that's support and maybe it'll, come back up, because we had this pump and dump like back in the end of June. And what happened? And the same thing happened. We totally broke that. Now we have a new low of 283. And that just happened yesterday, it looks like. Yesterday after hours. So, and today looks like it hit it today, that 283. So yeah, that's its new all-time low. And if you do check other sources and you see 52-week low and high, it's going to tell you that the 52-week high is like 10,800. That is not correct. It's because we had a stock split, I believe, in the middle of June or early June, something like that.
1 and 100.
1 to 100, yeah. So here's the 1
when
hour.
you see a high bubble and you know there's been a reverse stock split, just take whatever number that reverse stock split was, divide it into the high bubble. Yeah. That'll give you the real high of that day. What a crock of shaving cream.
Yeah, here it is right there, 1 for 100. And there might have been another one back here, but it doesn't matter. So if you just look at this is the 1 hour chart. This is from the end of June on, so this is about a month. So you can see, we've had these major ones, like lower highs right here. We've had these two big,
when she bounces, it's worth it to be around. But after a bounce, she's doing absolutely nothing that you.
But it's just not holding. It's not holding. It's not running. It's really not doing much. It's obviously moving with volume, as you can see here and here and here. but when the volume goes down, it's just kind of stagnant. In fact, it broke this previous 52-week low of 336. Now we have a new one at 283, and that just doesn't sound good to me. Now we're kind
Well,
of in
that's a
between
shame
here.
too, with a float of about 4 million. I mean, goodness gracious, it shouldn't
Yeah.
have to move it anymore. So that's saying something as well.
Yeah, don't love that. So I mean, our next resistance is going to be that 336, which, like I said, we just broke that. That was its previous low, and it kind of tried to act like support a little bit, but it did not hold up. Now it's our new resistance. You can kind of see it right here, and I didn't even move that line, so it's pretty
Yeah,
easy.
to me, it looks like she's on a downtrend.
It is,
I
yeah.
think she's going to keep making new lows here, and it's sad, but the company isn't showing a lot of new contracts or big sales or anything. But
Yeah, and I mean, unless something happened in the last week, I mean, there's really nothing new besides it just kind of came right back down. And it was already on its way back down when we looked at it yesterday or last week, last Thursday, because this was the end of the day last Thursday. You can
what's
see
our
that it's
5 minute look like?
5 minute.
Probably not pretty.
So
She's
this
actually got
doesn't
life
look
today.
terrible. Yeah, I was gonna say like the shorter term, like because I was just on the 15 minute. It doesn't look that bad, but when you look at the bigger picture, it's just not that great. But this is like, look at this resistance. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
And
turning her 200 flat. She is
yeah,
starting to curve around, and I'm surprised to see that double top didn't push her down. She's fighting it.
yeah,
So,
almost.
I mean, just that chart itself, all the rest of the chart stinks. It looks like she's in a downtrend. But this right here says this could be the floor. I'd be watching it right now to see if she starts to make a trend change. At this point, that's the only thing that looks good to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna add that right there just because we've hit that a few times. I like that. All right, that was at 310. So we'll see if we can respect that as a new support. That would be nice if you're bullish on this. So we'll see.
All right, let's move on to number 2. This is TKLF. This came from Kashera. I asked you, Kashera. You gave me 2 of them. I think the other one was IJJP. I just took the first one. So we're looking at TKLF. This is Yoshitsu Company. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Finished today at almost 71 cents. Had a pretty decent day, up over 24%. Another penny stock on the major exchange. She is on the NASDAQ. What is this company about? Couldn't find a website for it. I did actually go looking. I guess we got one here maybe. They are headquartered in Tokyo, Japan. They are a retailer and a wholesaler of Japanese beauty and health products, sundry products, and other products in Hong Kong, Japan, North America, and the United Kingdom. The company offers all sorts of beauty products, health products, over-the-counter drugs, medical supplies, sundry products for the home, including food and alcoholic beverages. They currently sell their products online, offline, in physical stores, franchise stores, wholesale, retail. They're selling anywhere, everywhere, and to everyone. They really don't care. Jumping into their news, we had a piece of news back here, April 23rd, that was deleted. With demand for Japanese beauty products growing, Yoshitsu sets its sights on the U.S., gears up for more brick and mortar expansion. Seems to me I reported this. I either wrote it down or we talked about it because I remember that piece of news and now it's gone. Why is it gone? Are their plans not true? They're not going to do that anymore? Great. The next piece of news comes out on 3 days ago, and we need these. These are the financials, and if I remember correctly, oh, they do. You stinker. All right, we'll go through these, but I did bring up the financials because these are their newest financials. Their last quarter or the last yearly report, they had 195 million. They started climbing and they fell and they popped back up and they're pulling in about 23 million in profit. Now, when you look at their most current, this just came out and this is long, folks. This is one of the longest news presses I have seen. They've got lots of information here. So if you really want to get into it, I'll let you. I'm just going for that highlighted area right there. Total revenues for the company was 195 million. So what we've just seen there on the OTC is the most current numbers. That increased by 15% compared to 169 million last year. Income from operations was 5.8 million this year. That is up 600% from last year's 0.8 million. Net income increased to 7.5 million this year from a net loss of 8 million last year. So basically they went from negative 8 million to positive 8 million. A complete flip, a mirror image. They did the same thing with the earnings per share. Excellent here, folks. Basic and diluted earnings per share was 20 cents for 2024 compared to a minus 22 cents last year. Completely flipped it over, folks. So that's a great thing to see there. But that's about all I could share with you. I couldn't find any other information outside of that very long financial. So what was the relative volume for this company today? Well, something's going on. It must be the financials. We jumped from about 11 million to 41 million. Pretty good there. We did kick her up 400%. Share structure, that's not bad. Outstanding share count is at 36 million. Anything under 100 million is decent. And our float's not going to be higher than that. Anything under 100 million is decent. We're under 36 million. So we've got a pretty decent one there. Why don't they give us a market cap? I don't know. 36 million times 70 cents. What's that going to get you? About 28 million, 25 million. I'm just throwing numbers in my head. Somewhere around there. Financials. We looked at the financials. We ain't got to do that again. Move on, move on. There's their financials. That's why it's so long. The financials we just looked at in the news are going to be the shorter version. It looked long, but this is a 20F because they are a foreign company out of, what country are they out of? Japan. That's right. 20Fs are very long because they have to deal with all the international laws, differentiations, and all that stuff, and it's all in there. So if you dive into that one, it is not an easy read, but you'll get all the information you can hope for, plus more. I don't think there was anything else over there we needed. I probably jumped through them. 716. I think these all have to do with the news. Yeah. So that is all I can give you. The rest is on Taylor's plate.
Was there anything from Thursday or Friday, the 25th and 26th of January? Like what happened?
Of January?
Yes.
My news only goes back to April, and my filings. You can jump over to your chart. I'll do this search while you're looking. The 28th of January?
26th.
26th. No.
So I have this on regular candles. I'll just show everyone. So we went from
nothing there.
Closed this day. There's the daily chart, by the way. Closed the 25th of January. We closed at 78 cents and then opened at 42 cents, closed at 30 cents the very next day. So that is quite a drop.
And that drop is on the 26th?
Yeah, this was Friday, January 26th, right here, this red candle.
Friday. So no, the closest I have is December 22nd and then January 29th. It ain't going to drop the day before unless they have some forewarning. Let me see what the 29th was.
Very strange. I'm wondering. And you can really only see that when it's on regular candles. So that's why I brought that up. Anyway, so I drew this like rectangle here to show, like, I mean, we had this big gap to fill. Kind of filled it a little bit here, and then now, since this big jump, we have really filled that gap. So this has to go away because we already did that. So that's good. It looks like they reported earnings on Tuesday, so they had some kind of earnings report, 14 cents a share or whatever. I guess. I mean, that they reported something, so that must have been it because that's the only thing I can see here, unless you said something else that I missed.
I'm looking right now. I'm checking out over at Google to see because that's a huge drop. That doesn't happen for no reason.
Yeah, that's very strange. And then it had a big red day the next day. But whatever happened on, I guess it was this earnings, Tuesday, July 16th, we jumped from about 30 cents, opened at 42, closed at 62. And now we're up here at 70 cents again. So we're back to where we started,
Wow.
just about, which is
Wow. What a
wild.
damn.
So this entire year, basically from January until now, we've just been down here in the 20 something cents range, except for just a few pops with this volume.
All right. I found the news. December 20. No, that's December 26th.
Yeah, this is
They,
very
they were
odd.
in hot water for their shares not being at minimum bid price. They brought on some new institutional shareholders a couple weeks later, but there is nothing on that day. That's very peculiar and curious. That's
Yeah,
a huge drop for no reason found.
yeah.
Wow. And then to just take off like that and cover
I
the
just took
entire
off.
gap.
Yeah, very strange. So here's what happened on the 4 hour. This just happened, looks like during pre-market hours on, well, it froze on Tuesday. Just kind of just, and now we're kind of bull flagging out.
That's what I was saying. Some of the biggest bounces you'll see happen pre-market, folks.
It was
Wow.
pre-market right here. Yeah. And we can drop
She's
it down to
looking
1
good
hour.
on that chart. Oh, she's still looking good.
Yeah, this is the 1 hour. So this is what's happened recently. That's what that those big green bars were. So all of this in the brown shaded area is pre-market. So you can see that's when the action took place. And then right when the market opened. So here that was the biggest volume pre-market from 7 a.m. Central on until 9 Central.
Yeah, that's when all the people start trading who don't trade pre-market. They come on and say, look at how high it is. I've got to sell. So instantly, as soon as the bell, all those people come in selling. Don't dive into anything on a purchase after a run pre-market because it is going to take a dip 9 out of 10 times. But once those people get their profits, if she had something going for her, you see she kept on going. Second high of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're over 200% from its 52-week low, which was about 20 cents, and that was just recently, like middle of June. So,
well, heck, just a week ago, you were down there at what, 15 cents?
yeah, it was something like that. Let me go to.
Well, I'm not looking for exact. You can just hover over it and look at 4 days.
Okay, like 20, 24 cents, 26 cents, 20, yeah. Yeah, it's been moving around in the 20 something cents range. Yeah.
She's looking good. I would definitely put that on my watch list. Though I don't see anything going on with the company. The chart has definitely started doing something. And that's what I trade. I trade the charts. I don't trade the news.
Yeah, today it looked like it moved more during the trading hours, during the regular trading hours, which is here in the black. But man, on Tuesday, that's when it really started. That's when all that volume came in, right at the end of pre-market into the very, very first of the regular market hours.
Yep.
And then it's just kind of bull flagged out. Today it moved a lot. You know, we went up from.
So would you put it on your watch list?
I would, yeah.
All right. We got two people saying, even though we don't have any catalysts, the chart is hot. The chart is broke out of its prison and is running for freedom right now.
Yeah, it finally did, because it was in the 20 something cents range for months and months and months and finally broke out. So love to see that.
Next stock we're going to take a look at comes from Mr. T. Rick. Thank you, T. Rick. He and I talk all through the day. God, does this guy find some crazy information? Talk about due diligence for the world. T. Rick is your man. T. Rick wants to look at OPTT. I'm not sure if we've talked about this on this show or not. I talk about this company a lot. I post a lot of news because they bring out a lot of news. This is Ocean Power Technologies. Finished day at 37 1/3 cents. She dropped a little today, about 2.5%. She's on the New York Stock Exchange. We don't look at a whole lot of penny stocks on the New York Stock Exchange, but they are there. This is an American company based out of New Jersey. This is what the company does. They make these power buoys. They have these wave generators, these energy things underneath that catch waves, and it moves a pump and it gives them energy. And this energy controls and powers all the equipment on the buoy. This has communications equipment connected to satellites, Wi-Fi, 5G, 4G. It's got all kinds of that stuff. It can have monitoring devices for the weather, for the zone. It connects to all the other things around it, drones, ships, airplanes, helicopters, to other buoys. So it can create a net of security out there. These are becoming very popular. There's not a lot of competition that I've seen. I post a lot of news, unless they're a really expensive company, and I just never see their news. Let me see. Now they're using this for all sorts of things, defense and security, as you can imagine. Monitor the waters, come by, you can communicate with everybody through these things. Offshore wind, they're taking energy from also wind turbines, putting that into use. Offshore oil and gas rigs, they need electricity. Where do you think it comes from? Companies like this. They generate them with those wave energy machines down on the ocean floor, and they bring that electricity up to these oil rigs. And of course, they're using it for science and research, for weather, energy, patterns in the ocean, all sorts of stuff like that. So there's a huge market in a lot of different sectors, whether it be public, private, or government. The last piece of information I want to share with you is just basically the headlines of the news, showing you that they have got a lot of attention from the right people. All the way back here, you have a government contract. Company reaches agreement in principle for delivery of multiple unmanned surface vehicles to U.S. government. An OEM agreement with key maritime technology provider Teledyne Marine. Partners with Unique Group for autonomous vehicle service in the Middle East. Up here, we've got another contract awarded. Delivery of AI-capable Meros. AI's in there now. Meros buoy in the Middle East. Signs a reseller agreement with Survey Equipment Services for the USA. Signs an agreement with AltaSea to advance wave power projects. They're doing a lot of different things here. They've got a lot of different types of products. You're going to have to do some more research and due diligence, but they're busy. They're getting a lot of attention from domestic and abroad. So let's take a look at what sort of attention they're getting. What was the relative volume today? Whoa, huge drop in volume, going from 56 million shares as an average. An average, that's in the middle. That means over the last 30 days, she's had numbers higher than that. She's had numbers lower too, but wow, that's a low number today, 6 million shares. Share structure for OPTT is about 60 million. That's going to be our float maximum. Could be anywhere down to, well, I don't know what the New York Stock Exchange. I'm going to say 1 million. Could be 500,000. Might be 5 million. Now I'm not too sure. I'll have to verify that. Market cap, we're at about 27, 23 million. Financials. Now, this company should be making money. Well, they are, just not as much as I was thinking. Over the last 4 years, they've gone from 1.6 million, dipping and popping, and then getting up to 2.7 million. But what's that? $250,000 less. That's all they made profit off of all of that. But, you know, there's a lot of technology, a lot of hardware. There's a lot of stuff they have to manufacture. That all costs money. So I can understand why they have a high cost of revenue. Quarterlies, well, they're starting to grow. They're moving from 750,000. They got over 1 million here, almost 1.25 million, dipped, and now they're up to 1.75 million. Profits are growing right along with them. So things are looking pretty decent for Opt. Money in the bank, we got about 5 million. Total assets, about 35 million. Liabilities is down there under 10 million. So we are actually holding a nice chunk in this penny stock. We got about 25 million equity that we, the stockholders, are holding. That's what gives the stock value right there, folks. And a quick peek at the disclosures. I'm sure I looked here. Yeah, that's pieces of news. So that is everything for Opti, a busy company that hasn't got a lot of competition, that is getting a lot of business. Think about what they can do. I mean, honestly, just stop and think of all the things they can do with self-powered buoys out in the middle of the ocean. I mean, they don't have to be near land. They can be way the heck out there, and they can be transmitting signals, information. It can be a touch point like a rabbit for one ship to reach another to go, for private communications and stuff. They can do a lot with these folks. I like this company. I think this company has definitely got a future. I don't know what the chart looks like right now, though. That's Taylor's department.
Okay. So, whoops, wrong one. Switching tabs. Hang on. There we go. So this is the daily chart. I've got the Heikinashi candles on, but right
Wow.
away you can see we have like a bull flag pennant looking thing. This is actually pretty perfect here. I love this. These are great. You can see this is a very, very, very bullish pattern right here. So we're going to look to break out of this and keep running. This is really a nice looking chart. I love
How
this
big was that
right off
jump?
the bat.
How big is that jump from the bottom green bar to the top green bar?
So around from here, it's about 13 cents to 55 cents, give or take. But right now we're a little bit below that. We're about 37 cents.
Yeah, but that's a huge quick
More than
fast run.
100%. Yeah.
And you can see she was setting up for the breakout. We always look for all of the SMAs to come downhill and the price to start turning up. And immediately once she gets across that 50, you see a bolt of energy coming. Wow. That was a bolt of lightning and a half.
This is awesome. Yeah. Very, very nice. So yeah, here's what it looks like on the 4-hour. And see, it's like even this is tightening up. You see how this is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We're getting tighter in here in this little pennant. This looks awesome. I love this pattern. This is set for a breakout. Almost, I mean, most of the time it will break out to the upside, but I mean, I have seen it continue on or continue on like this, or it could break down. I'm not saying 100% of the time. It's never always like
smashing into the 50-day SMA right now. You would anticipate something could happen now. So now would be a very good time. It's smashed and it's hitting that 50. So we could see some sparks fly here.
Yeah, I mean, this is like textbook perfect pennant. It looks fantastic. I love this. But yeah,
let's let that sit there. Let's just let that sit there. We don't need to go down to the 5-minute because we know she's getting ready to break out. You need to put this on your watch list. There could be another strong pop to the upside to that high. That would be a nice
Definitely could. I've seen it happen a lot. Yeah, I love this pattern right here. This is priming up for a big move. Love it. Thank you to whoever brought that one.
We'll give it the big thumbs up.
Exactly.
You haven't got a heart.
All
right, let's move on to the next stock then.
Interested to see what happens with that one.
What is our next stock? Not Opti. Let's close that one up and come on over to SNTX. This came to us by way of Velmore. Thank you, Velmore. This was something new. I haven't seen this one before. Velmore is always bringing us interesting stocks. She likes those sub-penny stocks too. You got to watch the ones she brings us. They pop, they could climb fast. Suntex Enterprise is down there at 0023. Had a bad day. Dropped 37%, over 1/3 of her cost. But that's only 0013. So it sounds like a big drop. It is. If you bought in at that price, you just lost 1/3 of your money. So it didn't move far in the chart, but it was a big move. She's on the pink tier of the OTC. This is our first OTC stock. Pinks are the riskiest. They're on the bottom tier. They're risky primarily because they don't have a lot of validated information. Their disclosures are tallies of numbers given to us by the management. They're not done by a CPA. No accounting done there. Usually only verified information you get are these two ticks, a verified profile, which is important, and a verified transfer agent, very important. Outside of that, there's nothing much you can look at unless they upgrade to SEC reporting. We'll see if they did that by looking at their disclosures. So what does Suntex do? Well, I was surprised to learn this. The company currently operates Budding Botanicals, a consumer-driven CBD company that specializes in the personal care industry. In 2022, the company purchased Warrior Spiced Tequila. Warrior Spiced is a cinnamon and jalapeno infused tequila product produced in Mexico. All right. So 2 years ago, they got this Warrior Spiced company, but they say they're into CBDs. Well, this is their website for the CBDs, Budding Botanicals. And this is what they are selling. CBD topicals, oils. CBDs do not have to worry about being approved by the FDA. They won't approve them unless they're for drugs. These aren't drugs. These are well-being products. The best you're going to get is a Gras, generally accepted as safe. That's the best you'll get on these. They can't make any promises. They can't tell you what it's going to help. They can just tell you it should make you feel better. What you get is a lot of empirical evidence, what people tell you it does. Now, what I can tell you is this, folks. Since CBD oils started being used back when cannabis started coming onto the market, we started focusing on them. We discovered something in the human body we never, ever knew before. We have what are called CBD receptacles in our body. They first found 2, then they found 2 more. Then I think they were up to 12. I don't know how many more we've got. CBD receptacles are specifically designed in our bodies for CBDs, if that tells you anything. They work on the physical and the metaphysical, the psychological level. When CBDs come into your bodies, there's different types of CBDs. These receptors know what they are and what to do with them, what you need them for, and where to send them. And they do all that smart. So this would actually be considered a pro-drug if the FDA was to ever approve it. The other thing is their tequila. We don't have any news here about buds. It was way back here. They brought out some new products in 2021 and 2022. It was in 2022 also they got a hold of the tequila company. And since then, that's all the news. Since 2022, we've only seen news about this. And then here recently, they tell us that they have sold, nope, not that one, that it has been more popular than ever. Cinco de Mayo really put it over the top. And they say right now they are selling $90,000 worth of tequila. They have the cinnamon tequila, jalapeno tequila, and they just offered chocolate tequila. Oh boy, I don't drink, but I may start. The last piece of information I've got here is about their financials. We'll take a look at them here because it seems to me this was the one that didn't have any financials. Right, we got no financials here. This is for March 31st, 2024, the most recent ones. Total assets for the company, 388. Are there 3 zeros on this? No. So it's 388,000. That's dropped from 437,000 last year. Total liabilities, 206. That also dropped about 200,000 from last year at 411. So right now we are holding positive stockholder equity of $181,000, which is definitely a lot more than it was last year at $25,000. Total revenues, we're at $306,000, which is less than half of what we did last year. But look at that. Profit margins have completely changed. I think selling the tequila makes some more money than selling CBDs. Maybe. We were at minus $56,000 when they did $640,000. We were holding debt of $56,000. Now they only did $306,000, but they made ain't much, $1,800. Woohoo! Let's have a party for that. But seriously, they're out of debt. We are above board now. It's not a lot to get excited about, but it is something to get excited about. So let's take a look at the relative volume for the company today. Yeah, she's doing about 40% less of what she normally does, dropping from just under 1 million to just over 500,000 shares. Share structure for this company, we got about 225 million outstanding. The insiders own more than there is in the float. Looks like they've got 116 million. We get the rest, 108 million, if these numbers are correct. That's not a bad float. It's just a wee bit over 100 million, but we can deal with it. They tell us that the market cap is under $1 million. So you got 225 million shares times that price, and it won't even reach 1 million. Wow. Financials we already looked at. Disclosures, peekaboo. We got nothing over here to consider. So there isn't a lot to actually tell you right now. They have broke out of debt. We now are above board. It's not very much. They're making half as much money as they did last year. But it seems to me they have switched gears. Maybe they're going to focus more on tequila. That's what all their news has been about. And they say they're now making $90,000 a month. I don't know what the profit margin is, but that's got to start adding up quick. All right, Taylor, what does the chart look like for this company?
Let's see. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I always have the wrong tab open. Sorry about that. All right. So, here it is. This is the 4 hour chart. Let's see. I've marked off the what I've deduced as the 52-week low, which was 0008. And then here is like it looks like it was an old resistance, new support. So I marked that off. That's at
I
002.
agree. Yep.
And then it's uh high at 0086. I didn't see that was its 52-week high. So a couple things here. It looks like first of all we have lower highs. That's not good, but I kind of see maybe a potential of a cup and handle here. And that's if we can hold this support at 002. I think that's really important. So, if it drops below that, then it might be over. I don't know. But and that kind of is correlating with the 200 on the 4 hour chart.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Um, yeah, I was looking for anything like major. The only like the most recent major volume that was like at the end of May. This brought it from around that 002 all the way up to that 0086. So that's what, a 400% gain or something like that.
What I'm looking at there is if you
Crazy.
look from the bottom of that big surge to the top and find about the center, we hit that on that bounce, but she is now falling away from the
Yeah.
halfway point.
Yeah,
And
it's about
I
here.
find that to be the negative zone. If she can't stay above the halfway point of a big surge, chances are she's going to dribble back down to a strong support. So you may be right. She may come all the way back down and settle on that again.
Could. Yeah. I mean, I don't love it,
The
but
oscillators don't look good either.
yeah, and another thing I've noticed, like the volume is very, very wonky. Sometimes it'll have just a very small amount of volume, sometimes it'll have a huge surge. And you can also see it if you just glance at the background here. The black is going to be your, during your trading hours, and the brown is going to be your pre-market hours. So you can see sometimes it'll skip some because there's nothing to report. There
Yep.
was not even any trading. So there wasn't even any pre-market hours here. And we even had some after hours here. You don't see any more blue anywhere else. It's very sporadic in that. It's not uniform, very odd. But then you have these giant surges in volume. It's very, very strange. It even shows that you can see the inconsistency on the 1 hour chart too in
Oh,
the background. It's very
that's looking
strange.
sad. I'm not liking that.
Yeah, this is the 1 hour. Yeah.
She's hitting her head underneath the 200 now. She ain't trying to bounce on top. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
that's looking sad to me. And I don't know. You've got a support down there, but now that the 200's curving over, the 50's coming down, she could be pushed down pretty hard right now.
let's see. What is going on here?
I don't know. You tell us. We can't see.
Oh, sorry. I'm just dealing with the chat. Anyway.
Oh no, you deal with the chart right now. We
So
got
what did you ask?
doesn't matter. I was saying she's falling. She's underneath the 200, beating her head now.
Here's the 5 minute.
Yeah, that doesn't look promising to me. She's
Yeah,
breaking down on every SMA.
support at 002. We're very close to that. So it might bounce off of this again. It could. It's done it several times before. Don't
Yeah,
know if it will.
that's about the best you could hope for right now, as far as
Yeah, that's really all I can see because this is very strange with the volume going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's very
wonky.
sporadic.
All
Yeah,
right, then
very
let's take a
wonky.
look at another stock then.
Let's look at something. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's not going anywhere fast, at least not in the direction we want. So we are looking at NCPL. NCPL actually came to me by Thebes, but Thebes, you got to quit doing that. I think you deleted your comment and then you put up a new ticker for us when I had already done all the work on this. So we are going to look at NCPL. This is Net Capital Inc. She finished the day at 9.2 cents. She was up almost 1% today. This is another penny stock on the major exchange. So what is Net Capital about? Well, they tell us here that Net Capital assists private companies in raising capital online. not public companies, private companies. Advisors also incubates and takes equity positions in select early stage companies with disruptive technologies. So they're a holdings company as well. The Net Capital Funding Portal is registered with the US SEC and the FINRA. So they've got a portal that they're working with. They're above board trading thing. And we're going to see some news here too that points that out. So this is just a quick glance of what they do. They incubate, accelerate, empower private companies to grow. Now we have a lot of holding companies on the public market that do this with public companies. They're doing it with private companies. Provide access to online private markets, market offerings to investors using digital technology, and connect clients with our deep network of institutional accredited investors. So basically, they're being a liaison. They're working to get money from investors and get it to the companies that need it. Looking at the news, I've gone back here to May. Net Capital pursues broker-dealer license to increase potential revenue generation. This is so that they can start dealing with bigger companies on the market, and they can raise up to $75 million now. They were in smaller categories. That is now going to allow them to work with bigger companies. Net Capital announces a completed reverse stock split at a special stockholders meeting. All right. Let's see here. July 24th. This is July 18th. They say they are going to hold a special meeting on July 24th, and they are going to vote on a reverse stock split in the range of 1 to 2 to 1 to 100. That's a big gap. They're doing this because they've got to get their price up over $1. They've been under $1 for too long. They're going to get thrown off the market if they don't have it fixed by August 26th. That is closing in on us fast. Now, they tell us down here they are kind of waiting anytime between now and then. If we can get the price up over $1, we have to bid it over $1, close over $1 for 10 consecutive days. We do that, the company's out of hot water, we're out of hot water. No reverse stock split. If we don't, you see what we've got coming here. And I don't know what it's going to be, but it's probably going to be more than 10. That would get it to $1. Why just go to the line that you can fall right back under? They're probably going to push it up high. So you may want to consider that. Got something else opened up here. Another piece of news. Net Capital announces exercise of warrants for $2.2 million. So the company just exercised warrants. Warrants are coupons that allow investors to buy shares at a discounted set price in the future. Well, the future came. They just cashed in 2.2 million of them. Well, every warrant that gets exercised, cashed in, turns into a new share that goes into the float. Well, they just did 14,320,000. So I don't know if this number's been added in over there. I can't remember what the numbers were. Let's take a look at the share structure since we're talking about that. God, I don't know. 3 in the news came out in June. Nope, not there yet. So 20 million, 14 million, that's going to be 34 million that we've got in the float, in the outstanding share count. And they're thinking about doing a reverse stock split, right? Right? Yes. So they've got shares coming in and shares that could be coming back out very, very quickly. Right now we're at 34. They tell us, I don't know. The numbers are all wacky here, folks. These are all from 2022. I can't use any of those. All we know is that our outstanding share count is somewhere around 34 million. Float's not going to be any higher than that. Because these numbers are wonky, our market cap's going to be wonky too. You see what you did, Taylor? You got me using that word now. Wonky. Jumping on over to the relative volume. Well, something's going on. She's kicked up 3 times her normal volume, from 8.8 million up to 25 million. Share structure we looked at. News. We did look at the news, but was there one other piece of news there we didn't hit? No, we covered all 3 of those. So the last thing we'd consider would be the disclosures. No, we don't have anything here for over a month now. So basically, that's what we've got going on. The share structure is changing just to meet the minimum price requirement. I don't see that they're in any hot water with anything else. I would think maybe the market cap would be a problem. And if it isn't a problem now, when they do a reverse stock split, the shares are going to come down. I really don't know here, folks. There's going to be a lot going on. The 24th, they're going to have a meeting and vote on this. Chances are it's going to get passed. Most of the shares that have voting power are held by the insiders. We get a chance to vote, but I don't think there's enough voting power amongst the shareholders to make a real difference. So I pretty much count on this being a done deal.
Did you mention any news from the 24th of May?
24th of May. Let's see what we got here. March. We got nothing in the news category from
or
the
filings, maybe.
Right. I'm just saying, you got to give me a chance to check both.
Right.
24th. Nope. There's a big gap between the 8th of May and the 28th of May. And there's months gap in news from March to July. So no.
All right.
Why? Go ahead, show us. We got something crazy going on?
Yeah, kind of. So I have it on regular candles on the daily chart. So here's basically what happened. We closed at 17 cents on the 23rd, opened at 30 cents, and then closed at 18. So that was a lot of movement one day, opening way up here at 30 cents.
Yeah.
Very strange. So I was wondering, and then look at the volume, obviously. So I'm not sure. We had a big gap up to 30 cents and then came back down. So I don't know why that happened.
Oh, I'll bet you somebody had an order in with the decimal in the wrong place or something. It was an accidental order. Oh my God, I didn't mean to do that. And of course,
really? Yeah, but look, this is all pre-market hours. So it started after hours, it looks like, on the 23rd, and then continued because it's open close here on the 4-hour chart. You can see that. These are regular candles too, so.
God only knows. If I don't have a filing, if I don't have, we haven't been looking at Twitter. There's a
all that volume, so something happened.
There's a possibility that these companies have Twitter accounts and put something out that day, and that can do it, So we haven't looked at Twitter. Do your research, including Twitter. That is definitely a buzz place.
Yeah, it could have been something. This is out of place. So from what I gather from another source, it says that the 52-week low was 8.5 cents, and its 52-week high was like $1.17. So that was even higher than this, which was like 40 cents up here.
Oh yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, so just looking at this on the 4-hour chart, looks like we've just got, lower highs. So we'll have to zoom in a little bit. Let's go to the 1-hour, see what's going on here. I went back to Heikinashi's. Okay, so it sort of looks like this was a little bit of a head and shoulders when we came back down here.
Yeah.
Here, and here.
Yeah, I can see it. If you had a short leg.
Yeah, if you're using all of the tops.
Yeah.
Whatever you call it. Okay.
She may be trying to set up for a bounce there. She's laying on that 50 and leveling out that 200.
Yeah.
She could be setting up for a jump there. I'd watch this. I'm not crazy about the chart, but as a day trader, it's not the long chart I'm really playing. I'm playing the daily chart. So, as soon as the stock starts to jump, it can be in a downtrend and you can make some good money on a bounce on a downtrending stock. No doubt that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Let's see, 15-minute. Do we have any kind of signs of hope? So it looks like today we had a lot of activity during pre-market hours. Okay, so we went from like 9 cents up to like 11 cents. So that's what, 20% or so?
Yeah.
25? But then it came right back down. So
and look at how itty bitty tiny those bars are now.
Yeah.
Underneath everything. That isn't looking good anymore. Yeah, you really
and it was like a pump and dump. I mean, it started this morning and then just kind of.
Yeah, I don't like
market
that
open.
One. I don't like the chart activity. I may come back to it later and see what it's doing, but right now I got other hot charts to look at.
Yeah. Oh, not super hot. All
right. Look at that. It's at 5 o'clock. We are on our sixth ticker. After this one, Taylor is going to tell us which two she has chosen for us to consider out of the ones that have been dropped during the time that we've been looking at these.
Mm.
That way we'll get a little bit of stuff pre-market.
Feel free to drop some more because I'm still considering.
Oh, all right.
Please.
You got me up. We are looking
Yeah.
at Sober. Sober is a very popular stock. She gets hot, she gets cold, but she's got a technology that is catching fire right now. Sober's ticker SOBR. She finished today at 16 cents. She was down today about 5.5%. She too is on the major exchange. You're going to be able to trade this pre-market, aftermarket. And I've seen some bounces pre-market for her. So what is Sober about? Sober has a technology that can identify if you have alcohol in your system. I just read that 2 drinks right there. Accurate precision alcohol detection at 2 drinks or more. Wouldn't it be better if it was 1 drink or more? But that's what they say. This is one that goes as a stationary one, like an employer's. You come in, all the employees have to put their finger on that. Not only is it registering the vapor in your skin and measuring for alcohol content very quickly, it also knows your fingerprint. So you can't have someone put their finger up there for you. They sell the equipment, but they make their money on the subscriptions. Every single person is paid for. And I don't know if it's 30 a month, 300 a month, or 1,000 a month. I don't know. But you get a company coming in that has 10,000 employees, that's 10,000 subscriptions. Then they've got another product that you wear. This is a bracelet. It does more than just monitor alcohol. It also monitors your whereabouts, your GPS location, as well as have a warning, a send signal if you try to remove it. Now, of course, this is something that would be perfect in the rehabilitation. People getting out of prison, going on probation or whatever, and they're not allowed to drink. You can't leave the state, all that sort of stuff. This would be great for that. Would also be good, as you can see in the picture, as upfront love with your teenagers. You want to send them out. They say they're not going to drink. Who knows? You could know. Well, rather than sneaking something on their apps or doing something silly behind their back, just tell them up front you want them to wear it. If they are trying to be honest with you, they'll wear it. And you'll know not only if they've been drinking, but where they are all the time, right? And if they try to take it off, you'll know that too because it connects to a phone app. Now, the big thing we're hoping for here, folks, is that this gets picked up by huge companies. As you're going to see in the news, they are picking up more and more business. They're getting these little rehabilitation places that have 10, 18, 27 patients. That's good. They're adding up. That's how you start. But we want to get a big employer. Even better yet, we'd like to get this stuff put into cars. Surely they can come up with something they can put in a car that you just put your finger on. And if you've been drinking, the car won't start. I know that's a pain in the butt, but this is what we're thinking, right? Now, it could be a problem if you wanted your friend to move your car for you. He can't do it. It's not his fingerprint. It's not just a finger. It's the fingerprint. And I doubt you're going to let him borrow your finger. So there are a lot of things they can do with this. There's a lot of room to grow, and I expect it to grow. And just so you know, I don't see it here. Is it over here? Yeah. Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. They are on board with this company, and they have made the press to get this technology into cars. And car companies are considering it, especially since they're going all electric right now. So what other information have I got for us here? Well, let's look at the news. Going back to May, SoberSafe secures new 3-facility behavioral health customer, new Justice channel partner. This year in 2024, they have received 20 new accounts, not counting anything after this, actually. SoberSafe receives $2.8 million in gross proceeds from exercised warrants. We got to consider the warrants being exercised. When they sell warrants, it's free money for them. They're selling coupons to sell warrants cheap or to sell shares cheap in the future. So they get money right now to sell warrants. Cost them absolutely nothing. Then when they cash them in, they get money again selling stock cheap off the market, and then it dilutes our share structure. Well, this is exercising more warrants. They have exercised 2.8 million, which comes out to 10.3 million more shares they have just added on to our float. What is our float? Outstanding share count, that's the wrong button for that. Outstanding share count, they say it is 20 million. We're going to add another 10 million to that. We're up to 30 million. Now, I'm not saying that's bad, but that is 1/3 of the value of the stock lost. There was only 20 million shares being divided into this price amongst all the shares for the investors. Now there's 30 million shares. Your slice just got thinner. So you've lost about 1/3 the value of the stock with those warrants being exercised. And that has nothing to do with the price that they sold the shares at, just simply putting more shares on the market. What was the relative volume around the company today? Whew. Dropped from 13.7 million to just over a million today. Share structure we looked at, financials. Well, they just started bringing in revenues in 2022, $35,000. Don't forget those 3 zeros. 2023, they were at 157,000, and they are making money. A lot of these startup companies are hurting. As soon as they start making money, they're losing money. They're not making much, but they're going in the right direction here. Quarterlies, well, a year ago, they're exactly where they're at now, 47,000. They dropped a little bit in the center and they're right back. Though this time they're making more money. They only got to keep 17,000. Now they get to keep 23,000. Don't know how they did that. That's great. Share or balance for the company. Some money in the bank, 1.3 million. Total assets, 4.5 million. 3.5 million in liabilities. So we do have a little bit of stockholder equity. It looks like a startup company that has business, right? They've got a little bit of equity. They've got some shares. It's not a lot, 30 million. It really isn't a lot of shares. Revenues are just starting. Profits are just starting. Things are just starting. But now we've tripped up with 100% of the warrants. That's the great news. 100% of the warrants have been cashed in. So they're done. Those are done. Now, I'm not saying there aren't more warrants. Those are the warrants from the time they sold them. And I think they sold them here recently, not too long ago, which is a shame. But that is the way they raise money unless they do public offerings. And they got paid twice doing it this way. Disclosures. Yeah, I don't know what these are. I hate these. What is this? Notice of special meeting. All right. Please don't talk about a reverse stock split. I always look at these meetings because they tell you what they're going to vote on in many cases. And you can see if they want to get paid more, if they want to take our shares, what the heck is going on. To approve for purposes of complying with the exercise of certain stock purchase warrants, June 4th. When was this one? That one's already happened. They did it. So we don't have to worry about that. So I don't see any other filings over here. Sober's got a great product. They've got a great technology. I can imagine most employers would want to use something like this. It's just going to be an expense. So they'd have to weigh up how much money are they losing from people drinking on the job or coming in drunk compared to what they'd have to pay in subscription fees. Although a company could easily say, you want to work here, you have to go through this process and you have to pay for that subscription. I've seen it done before. Don't we have to pay for our own health care these days? I mean, they don't give away anything anymore. All right, let's take a look at the chart for Sober. Sober.
Okay, hold on. I'm here. All right. So the last time we looked at this together was on May 30th. Now these lines were drawn, except for this one. This was 12.8 cents was its 52-week low, which we just hit last month. But I was trading this back in the day. That's why I was like 16 cents. Why are we so low? Like, what's going on? This was like in 2022. Do you remember this big run? Like in the beginning of January 2023?
Oh, yeah, I told you. Sober was hot for a while.
It was like, I mean, it ran to over $3 like it was nothing. Straight from 88 cents. It was like a 300% run in just a matter of what, a couple weeks.
She jumped early too. That 200 was
Yeah.
very steep and she really blasted over it.
Yeah, and ever since then you can see the trend, what's been happening.
Yeah, you can.
Not too great. So, but we did have someone brought this up on the 30th of May. We just looked at this. So we have these three big jumps. So something was going on. They must have come back in the news or something, but we never could hold that. In fact, after this last jump, this was on June 4th, it
Looks
just
like
completely
the
fell
powers.
to its 52-week low of looks like 12.8 cents. Now we're up at 16 cents, so we're kind of like right here. Let me see the 4-hour. It's not looking that hot anymore. Yeah,
No.
see. The lines I had drawn, like this 37 cents, that would be nice to come back to, but oh my gosh, we are so low now. I mean, you can see if you look down here at the bottom, you can see that it will move on a little bit of volume here,
Right.
here. I mean, even just a little bit, like see how small that is right here? And it jumped all the way to 31 cents, but it comes right back down. And then these two little spikes in volume came up to 24 cents. There's maybe a little bit here and here and it comes up, but there's really not a lot of volume. And there's nothing.
I see a lot of potential in the company. The
Yes,
stock
yes.
looks like she's struggling to try to change her trend, and
Mhm.
she has stopped falling. I mean, she is on a slight uptrend right now. She is cutting across SMAs, but
Yeah.
it's a struggle. She is, and I don't know if this company's being shorted. It could be being heavily shorted. I know it's expensive to short these stocks, but still, these stocks are being pushed down by shorters who have been capitalizing for 2 years. And I don't follow shorts a lot, so I don't know what's going on with this stock.
It
Again,
could be
though, I
shorter,
do like
yeah.
the company. I think the company is going in the right direction.
Yeah, fundamentally it sounds great, but on the chart it's not looking that hot to me. But so this is the 1 hour. So I mean it's getting most of its volume during the trading day. I mean, not that that makes a difference, just you can see it here, like on June 11th, we had a big pop. I mean, it ran all day Friday, July 12th. That's pretty neat. We ran from 15 cents all the way to like 17 cents. Doesn't sound like a lot, but percentage wise, that's what, like 8% something. I mean, this is kind of acting as a support. I'm trying to think of something good here. I mean, this is the 200 on the 1 hour chart, but see, you can see all these like death cross here. That's not good.
Yeah, she's
You can
coming
see
down
lower.
now. She could easily bounce off that 200.
It could. Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just now gotten flat. She hasn't really tested it a lot since she got over it, which you normally see a few bounces on of it. So I'd watch for it to come down to the 200, but I wouldn't get in until she started showing she was climbing.
Yeah. I mean, it's moving on volume at least. I don't know. Let me see. Did it
Well,
run
that's something
on
to consider when volume comes in. Those are the days to play her.
I don't know if it's running on earnings or not. It might have. Not really. A little bit, yeah. It runs on or does something on earnings reports like this one. It fell on earnings reports. We got another one coming up August 28th. Maybe we can keep an eye on for that.
Yeah, and since their revenues have been growing and we see them getting bigger and bigger, we could expect bigger revenues.
Yeah.
So there could be some speculation in chart rise. We could see a rise just before that happens.
Yeah.
Afterwards, well, if she rises before the financial and the financial comes out, good or bad, it may fall because it's already been built into the price. And people will just take their profit at that point, and you'll say, why? Why? It's a crazy market.
Yeah, I mean it hasn't really, I mean, since the end of June until now, I mean it's been between 12 and 20 cents. It's just kind of like I mean it's just right down here at the bottom. I mean, like I said, we just hit our 52-week low just the other day. Hasn't been that long, like less than a month.
Is that a new 52-week low? Has she been
It is.
all the way along?
No, this is the newest. It's the lowest of the low.
No, that's what oh, okay. So we did have a lower one before.
Oh,
Wow.
back in 2014.
Right. That's not even sober. Sober wasn't there back then.
Right.
That
So
was a different.
no, this is its newest low. Yeah.
So it just keeps falling because
Correct.
last week's low was the new 52-week low. Now this week is the new 52-week low. So that's not encouraging.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, it's been coming up in the last few weeks in the month of July, but at the end of June, that's
Yeah,
when
but
it
it's
hit.
not moving. It's
Correct.
jumps are all this thing does. It falls, jumps, falls, jumps, falls, jumps. And that's what
Yeah, I mean, this is like a scalper's this is a
Until
good,
she has
one
a
to
serious
scalp.
trend change, I'd only play volume bounces. That's it.
Yeah, definitely. It's moving on volume, and that's about it. I mean, it might do something on this next earnings report, but
All right.
we'll
So
see.
that's enough for sober. I'm sober. I wanted to make a comment here. Somehow Guilty 69 has made a few very harsh comments to me here, and you got the right. Although one of those comments sounded racial to me, and that's why it's gone. I deleted that one. I don't know what to say. I look at my stocks, and many of them are falling. There is no doubt about that. Many of them have taken gains. Which stocks are you playing? How are you reading the charts? What are your entries? If you want to put the blame on me that you're losing money, that's your first problem. I'm not making your decisions. You are. I'm only sharing due diligence with you. You've then got to go do more due diligence and see if it fits your criteria. I cannot give advice on what you should be investing in or what you should be selling. All I can do is give my opinion. And like everybody's, it stinks like a fart unless you like me. Then you can put up with it. So I apologize if you are taking it personally that you're losing money on my investments. I'm surprised to see you here watching if you've lost over $4,000 from me already. All right. Taylor, it's on you. Did you come up with two stocks out of the stocks
I have one for sure. A couple of people requested IJJP, and
Yes.
we've looked at that before, and it's okay. We can look at that one, and we can look at HIRU.
All right.
From Brian.
I'm going to jump into IJJP. Go ahead and turn me up. There we go. IJJP. This was the other one that I believe Kishiro wanted.
Yeah.
She had chose two, and then I seen it came up again further down. So this is a good one to look at.
Yep.
All right. I haven't done any preliminary due diligence here, so we're going to go through this the way I would normally do it. IJJP, that's IJJ Corp. Finished today, 0007, dropped about 12.5%. On the pink tier, got the verified information we're looking for. So what is this company about? Let me see. They have a strong background in Federal Department of Defense Information Technology and Facility Management. Whoa, that's pretty decent. Focusing primarily on the software development and secure hosting services. All right, so we've got a general idea of what they're doing there. What was the relative volume around the company today? Huge drop, folks, from 41.3 million down to 6.3 million. Wow, lost 35 million shares of trading. Share structure, woo! We got a lot of outstanding shares here, 2.1 billion. Insiders own 186 million. We get all the rest, just shy of 2 billion shares. Always worried about a reverse stock split when you see billions of shares on OTC penny stocks. The other place you'll see billions of shares is on stocks that are worth a lot because they just can't have one share worth $400,000. They got to keep adding more and more shares to bring the prices down, like Tesla's done a few times. Let's see what we have. Market cap, 1.6 million. Ooh, boy. Financials. These aren't current. No, this comes up to 2021. We have anything quarterly? Yeah. All right. So this is all current. Year ago, we were at $16,000. Just last March, we were at $6,000 and we broke even. We didn't get to keep any of that money. Balance sheet, they've got just under $1 million in the bank, $1.5 million in assets, only 9,000 in liabilities. Woohoo! That gives us 1.5 million in stockholder equity. There's a bright, shining piece of information. Quick look at our disclosures. Nothing since May. What was that, 8K? Material definitive agreement. On April 8th, the company entered into a stock exchange agreement with Montech. The company will acquire 51% of Montech. Well, that's something to know there. How about that? That was back in May. Let's take a look at the news then. What do we got going on here? That's all 2022. Look at that. No news. So going over to the disclosures was the only news we really got there. We have the deal. They got 51% of Martech. They don't tell us what Martech is about there. You'll probably have to do a little bit of research to find out. And that was, oh, shite. That's 2022, folks. So I'm presuming they still own Martech. They got it 2 years ago. We have no news. We have no filings. Let's take a quick glance over here at Twitter. See if IJJP has their own. Maybe we'll get something here. Dump. Looking for their name. It doesn't look like they got anything here. How about if I put in their actual, IJJ Core. Let's try that. IJJ Core. Give us something. Aha. All right. See what we got going here. June 3rd. Thank God. We updated the roadmap regarding a merger and additional corporate material events. The expectations in the roadmap are still in place, and we're waiting for the signature on the note to execute the merger. Please tell me it's not Martech. That was a ways back. I'm not seeing any names here. Shareholder update, funding target, 500D. Has completed preparation, participate in private placement memorandum. I can't see what the company is. Check out Greenwood Modern Banking for Culture. Whoever they are merging with, it is supposed to be happening here soon. They don't give us a lot of information. Let's see their roadmap. Maybe the roadmap tells us something. Submitting colleges, finalizing merger with cannabis hemp. There you go. Finalizing merger with cannabis hemp extraction plant. I don't know what this is about. Merger will include an expansion of a plant from 10,000 square feet to 20,000 square feet. Wait, you don't know how big the plant is? The expansion plan is based on increase in orders for specialized products. So they're going to double the size of the plant for hemp extraction, which is CBD. They used to do Delta 8, which is a THC that you can leach out of hemp. There's supposed to be less than 3%. Government just made that illegal. No Delta 8s, Delta 9s. That's all illegal now. So if you're buying it anywhere, if they're selling it anywhere, it's illegal now. Hemp was not made for that. That's what cannabis was for. So that's what we got going. A merger with a hemp company supposed to be happening as soon as somebody signs a note. That's great to know.
Is that similar to Delta 9 or?
Pardon?
You said Delta 8. Is that like Delta 9? I've heard of that one.
Delta 8 and Delta 9 are different types of THCs that they're extracting out of hemp. And it's so minute that by itself, it does nothing if you just take the plant on a whole. But when you start getting all the little bits you can get from tons of hemp, you can end up with Delta 8 and Delta 9, which can get you high. And it bypasses the laws. You can sell it over the state line, sell it out of the country. And that is flouting the laws. That is not the reason we passed the hemp bill, was so that you could get high off of hemp. Hemp is supposed to be industrial, make plastics, make clothes, make bricks, make wood, not make party. That's not what hemp was for. We have something for that. So they're trying to segregate it some more. That's everything I got for IJJP. What's the chart look like for that?
Well, here it is here. So most of these lines, except for this 001, which is your favorite, were already drawn. You know, it's kind of barcodey. I get that. But, you know, this kind of reminds me of, what was that one that we always look at and over and over and over? It was like consolidating for a while, and it's just kind of stair-stepped its way up. This was the last time we looked at it. What is that one? Toner. Like that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Toner. Kind of reminds me of toner. So
you're right.
This is the last time we looked at it on June 6th, so not that long ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. So after that, it came back down to this lowest support, which is 0005. Came back up to 0006, which it has held that completely. So it has held 0006, went all the way up to 001, which is your favorite. And so we're just kind of like in this area that we need to break out of this, especially out of this 0009 area, which we have broken. We've gone up to it at least. We broke it here. And we came up to it just today. This was in pre-market hours, though, right here. So let's see what the 1 hour looks like. So yeah, this was yesterday and then pre-market today. It looks like we went right back up to that 0009. But since the last time we looked at it, that's as high as it's been. So it has held pretty much. I mean, it has come back down, but it has held that. It's been able to at least stay there and not drop like some of the
It's a,
other ones we've
it's a
seen.
volatile uptrend.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it. It's a much better way to put it. At least it's coming back to that level at least. It's not breaking above it. It's not making any really higher highs except for the exception of right here. This was at the beginning of July. But it is holding it. I think that with some more volume, like we saw back here right before we looked at it last, you can see it went from like 0005 all the way up to 0009. So we need some more volume, obviously. So maybe if we get some news or something, it could break up and hold above the 0009 and get maybe above 001. That would be great. Otherwise, this is what we're looking at. Kind of barcodey. There's really not. I mean, it's just one level, one level, one level. Because you can't trade in between here. There's no other in between.
Right.
So
Right. There's no in between.
yeah. So it's kind of like
up.
yeah. It's just these level after level. So I mean, like right now, I guess we're at 0007. So it could come right back up to here, and I assume it will.
Yeah,
But I mean,
stocks don't move fast.
yeah, but I mean, if you've got an open order at 0006 or 0007, and then you have and then you get it, and then you have an open sell order at 001, I mean, you're going to consistently make that 30% or whatever, whatever that is. I'm not doing the math.
You got another stock chose for us? One more.
I have a couple. Either let's see, we can do. How about we look at NBCO? I like that one.
I knew you were going to say that. I think we've looked at that one a few times.
I don't have any markings for it.
Well, then I guess it's me because I know I've done a video on it, so that's kind of good. I was just looking at that because I seen you had put it in there, so I was ready for it.
And I like that one.
Let's go back to here. This is Neon Bloom. She finished the day at 4.7 cents. She was up just a little over 19% today. She is 2 on the pink tier, and she's got her verified information. Neon Bloom is a diversified enterprise group currently engaged in the development of new life science technologies. Let's see. Beginning in 2020, they began to expand their leadership. In 2021, they acquired Baselet Health Systems in an all-stock transaction. The company intends to make additional acquisitions in the near future. All right, let's see what we can learn here. Going from right to left, our relative volume, oh, that's a nice jump. Going from about 20,000 shares up to almost 300,000 shares. You're looking at 15 times. That's a big increase. I know it's not a big number, but it's a big increase. Share structure for the company. Got about 212 million outstanding, but oh my God, if these numbers are correct and they were all updated today, yesterday, so I'm presuming they're all correct. The insiders own the bulwark of this, 196 million out of 212. That leaves us with 15 million, 16 million. Now that looks great. You know, they're not going to do a reverse stock split too eagerly because it's going to hurt them more than it hurts us. They're going to lose a lot of shares. That's the same shares we own, common stock. But what you've got to watch out for, and I'm not saying it specifically about this company. I'm just saying when you see a company that has a lot of insider holdings, and we don't have many, they can manipulate the market very easily. They can put out news. They can hype it up somewhere else, get that stock running, and then they can sell a lot of shares and make money and bring it down. The classic pump and dump. This is one of the things we look for. I'm not saying it could. I'm just saying possible. Market cap for the company, 8.5 million. Financials, we got nothing coming in at the end of 2023. We got nothing coming in 2024. Looking at the balance sheet, they got $1,000 in the bank. That was a minimum requirement by the bank to keep the account open. Total assets, $764,000, double that virtually in liabilities. So we're holding just under $500,000 in deficit here. So we don't have any equity. We don't have any revenues to talk about. And we have a situation here. Now, as long as they play honest, folks, that's a pretty good share count. This stock gets some volume, it can move. But I would always consider that. I validate the news. I take news from Pinks with a grain of salt. I've lost tens of thousands of dollars from playing Pinks. Pinks put out a lot of BS, folks. They have great deals in the news and then they break them 3 months later. Then they have another new technology that they can't get their hands on and they end up breaking that deal. And the stock goes absolutely nowhere. Filings, folks. Filings are the gold in these Pinks. They are legal documents that they have to uphold. Press releases, they can word them. We're thinking about, it's a consideration. It may be somewhere near. There's just too many words that are indefinite. And people want to sue them when things happen. And because of the wording, nobody can sue them. You can't get them. All right, let's see what we've got going on over here in the news. All right. I remember talking about this company. We've got 3 pieces of news here that are recent, right? Yeah. That started back in September of 2023. The company signed a letter of intent to acquire Advanced Executive Sales. They came to finalize the terms in May, finally, 8 months later. And then a month later, they finally closed that deal. And then in the course of new leadership. Now, let's see if there's anything I can gasp here. I'm not recalling everything I should probably remember here. New board member comes on. It's a board of directors. Your board of directors normally aren't paid. These are people that give their opinion. These are people that help guide the company without being biased. They have nothing involved. They get paid in a whole different way. They don't have an interest in the companies in a lot of cases. Let's see here. Was there anything else there for news? Yeah, the executives. This is the deal they just closed. Providing business software solutions following several months of negotiations, no doubt. It resulted in an agreement April 15th. Let's see. It looks like a share deal. Lots of shares moving here. Wow. The company issued 212 million shares to Mr. Bauer. Under the terms of the final agreement, AES will be converted from a Florida limited company to a Florida C corporation and continue to operate as a wholly subsidiary of Advanced Executive Sales. I would check into this a little bit more. This is sounding like a change of control, folks. You can normally dive into their disclosures, the most recent financial, maybe that one. Up at the very top, they've got boxes right there. This one says no right now. It says they have not had a change in control. But the way I was reading that, it sounds like new executives is going to be in charge, and this company is going to be a subsidiary of it. So I don't see how they could be in charge. So that's what we're looking at from that standpoint of view. They just did close a merger, which is supposed to help the business, but who's running the business and exactly what is that business going to be? Probably going to have to dive into that news press, see if you can get some more information. All right. You said you liked the chart for this one, Taylor?
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Let's see it.
Looks really good. So obviously back here wasn't that great. This was the end of the year. We had a big drop. And then we just basically consolidated here. This is between 006 and 8, give or take. It's just like this little consolidation area. Came back down right to it a couple times, and I marked up another couple levels. This is about 0.026, and then it's high at 0.047. So this kind of acted as a resistance here at about 0.027. So resistance. We broke through that, came back down, and then look, we've just been running. So if from this area,
that big red bar that came down from the 200, that was perfect because the solid bar did not come through the SMAs. The wick pierced multiple SMAs all the way down. When I see that, to me, that is a buy sign. To me, I expect that to pop right back up because the solid bar did not go through. Had the solid bar gone through, I'd be worried. I'd be thinking,
this chart looks amazing, and to me, anyway.
I like that chart.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, we've gone from 0.008 up to where we are now, which is 0.04. So do the math on that. How much is that? 500%?
0.04, 500%. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, that's
Woo!
pretty. That's a pretty hot chart.
Yeah, man. And she's
That came to
going
us from
nicely.
Robert Douglas. Yeah.
Not a lot of volatility. She's got drops down to the 20. You got to keep tagging that 20 every now and then. That'll keep you from going to the 50. Tug that 20, get on your way, tug the 20, go on your way. That's looking gorgeous.
Yeah, this is the 1 hour.
Oh, and there we got it. We've got another wick coming down through the 20, but the solid bar did not come down to the 20. So right now, that very last bar, in my mind, I'm thinking she's going to bounce up immediately and start to climb again. That's the way I read it.
Yeah, so it's high, which was 0.047. That was hit just today. So, I mean, it's higher highs all the way, pretty much.
Definitely worthy of the watch list.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Tomorrow morning. Now, it doesn't look like it's getting a whole, well, yeah, some days it gets attention pre-market, aftermarket. Some days it don't. So
A little bit, yeah. I don't see any aftermarket, just pre-market on this
just
one.
pre-market. And that's where most of it is. You find aftermarket, any news that comes out after the bell, 403, 406, those stocks jump. They jump because there's just a few traders who are excited about the news, paying attention, and the stock runs unabridged. Nobody is slowing it down. So you can catch nice runs there. But normally that's all you get from the aftermarket. Pre-market, holy cow, you can get some serious gains there. You can cash out in the morning and not have to worry about trading the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. We've covered our 8 stocks today. I'm going to hit the button. Got it.
Okay.
We're at 5:36, pretty close to an hour and a half. I see a lot of you have been making comments I didn't get a chance to read here. Robert Douglas, you've been making lots of comments. I hope they were decent. Yeah, they look pretty decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind bad comments, folks. I don't even mind, a little bit of, you called this one wrong. I'm human. I'm not AI. I'm not going to get it right. And it is just my opinion. And we are in a bad market. And when we're looking at OTC stocks, you've just got to expect that these stocks are under an entirely different pressure than the major exchange stocks. The stocks down here are not getting the financial support that they need. Their market caps aren't where they need to be to get bank loans, to attract investors. And if they can't get money, do you realize it costs about $2 million just to stay on the market? Regardless of what size your company is, to do all the filings, to stay on the market, to cover all the expenses. If you're not making any money, you can't get your financials in, you fall down to the expert market, you're still not getting any money, you're not looking attractive, you may not come back. So we've got to be very careful with these stocks down in the OTC. Validated information is crucial, folks. If you're going to play something just off a feeling, read the charts. Get in, get out as fast as you can. And the best thing I can say is when it starts to turn very fast, if you're seeing a run that's different, strange, doesn't happen most of the time, that's when you sell. Sell when it's climbing, sell when it's green. Do not sell when it starts falling because you're going to start losing money faster than it was climbing. Get in the habit of selling on the way up. You'll never go broke that way, folks. Anything you want to add, Taylor?
Oh, no, that sounds pretty good to me.
Thanks for being here, folks. We appreciate every single one of you. Taylor and I are going to go through the comments now. We're going to look and see what you pointed us to. We look at stocks that we don't look at here. She and I go look at them afterwards. So we appreciate that. And folks, I hope you're looking at all those comments too. It's not just me that's bringing stocks to the table. It's all of these other investors, all of our viewers. Thank you, folks. We'll see you next week, Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Have a good week.
Bye.